The applause was deafening. Claire stood at the front of the conference room, smiling like she had earned this moment. The CEO shook her hand, congratulating her on the promotion that should have been mine. My stomach twisted as I watched her accept the position I had spent years working toward. I had done everything right, stayed late, sacrificed weekends, delivered perfect results, yet here she was, basking in my stolen glory. I clapped along with everyone else, forcing a smile, but inside, I was burning. Claire caught my eye across the room, flashing a smug little smirk. That's when I knew, she wasn't just lucky. She had planned this. She had stolen my promotion, and she wanted me to know it. But she had no idea who she had just crossed. I wasn't just going to take back what was mine. I was going to make sure she lost everything. Claire and I had started at the company on the same day, fresh out of college, eager to prove ourselves. We had clicked instantly, two ambitious women in a male-dominated industry, pushing each other to be better. We worked late nights together, covered for each other when needed, and celebrated every little success. I truly believed we were friends. At least, until the cracks started to show. At first, they were small things. A missing email here, an accidental miscommunication there. Nothing too serious, just enough to create little setbacks for me. But I ignored it. I trusted Claire. Then, about a year ago, we both set our sights on the same promotion, a senior management position that would change everything. It was the kind of role people stayed in for decades, the type that paved the way to executive leadership. We both wanted it, but I had the edge. My performance reviews were stronger, my projects had better results, and I had already been informally told I was the top contender. Then, suddenly, things started going wrong. A major project I had spearheaded was somehow credited to Claire. An important report I had submitted mysteriously went missing until it was too late to be included in the executive meeting. And when it came time for final interviews, I was told I had been passed over because of concerns about my leadership skills. I was stunned. It didn't take long to find out why. A colleague, one of the few I could still trust, pulled me aside one evening. "I don't know how to tell you this," she said, hesitating. "But Claire's been talking." My heart pounded. "Talking about what?" She hesitated again. "About you. She told the higher-ups that you struggle under pressure. That you missed deadlines, that your team doesn't respect you." I felt sick. Lies. Every single word of it. The worst part? It had worked. Claire had spun a perfect web, making herself look like the obvious choice, while planting just enough doubt about me to push me out of the running. And now, she had my promotion. My career-defining moment. That was when the anger took over. I had spent too long working my way up to let some backstabbing snake steal what was mine. Claire thought she had won, but I was about to teach her a lesson, one she would never forget. She had played dirty to get ahead. Now, I was about to play smarter. If Claire thought she could bury her secrets, she had no idea who she was up against. I didn't lash out. I didn't make a scene. Instead, I got smart. I started small, watching, listening, collecting. People loved to gossip, and Claire had plenty of admirers, especially among the junior employees who wanted to be in her good graces. I pretended to let go of my resentment, even congratulating her publicly on her well-earned promotion. The more I played nice, the more she let her guard down. I found my first real lead when I overheard an assistant whispering about how Claire had secured a major account before the final promotion decision. That didn't sit right with me. So, I did some digging. Searching emails, financial reports, and employee communications. And that's when I found it. A series of emails between Claire and a client, dated weeks before the official selection process. In them, she promised special incentives in exchange for signing the deal under her name, guaranteeing her as the front-runner for the promotion. She hadn't just played dirty, she had cheated. That was all the confirmation I needed. But I wasn't going to expose her yet. I wanted her to fall in a way she'd never recover from. Armed with my first piece of evidence, I moved to the next step, turning Claire's own arrogance against her. She had built her image on perfection, the competent, charming, untouchable executive. So, I decided to push her, just enough to make her crack. First, I started leaking little pieces of doubt among her supporters. Nothing direct, just small, whispered concerns to the right people. Claire seems overwhelmed, doesn't she? I heard she might have made a mistake on that last report. Strange for someone so detail-oriented. I wonder how she landed that client so quickly, it almost seems too good to be true. Gossip spreads like wildfire in an office, and soon enough, whispers started reaching higher-ups. Then, I planted the next seed of doubt, an anonymous email to HR, highlighting irregularities in Claire's client dealings. I kept it vague, just enough to warrant an internal review. That's when Claire started to panic. I watched her stress levels rise as the walls started closing in. She was staying later, snapping at colleagues, checking over her shoulder. She knew someone was coming for her, but she didn't know who. That's when I moved in for the kill. The last piece of my plan was simple: let Claire destroy herself. Using an old contact in IT, I gained access to security logs showing that Claire had deleted files related to the client deal. I compiled all my evidence, emails, logs, reports, and sent them directly to the board of directors under an anonymous tip. But I didn't stop there. I knew Claire wouldn't go down without a fight, so I made sure to break her trust within the company. I accidentally let slip to one of her closest allies that someone had been feeding executives false information about me to sabotage my promotion. It didn't take long for the dots to connect, and suddenly, Claire found herself alone. Then, the hammer dropped. HR launched a formal investigation. The board demanded explanations. And Claire, once so poised and in control, crumbled. The moment she realized she was trapped was delicious. She tried to deny it. Then, she tried to shift the blame. But the evidence was undeniable. Within a week, she was terminated, not just from the promotion, but from the entire company. But I wasn't done. Claire had spent years stepping on people to get ahead. So, I made sure every major competitor knew exactly what she had done. The industry is small, and word spreads fast. Claire didn't just lose her job. She lost her career. Claire was escorted out of the building with a box of her things, her face pale with shock. She looked around, desperate for allies, but there were none left. The same people who once admired her were now whispering behind her back. I could have stayed silent. I could have just watched from the shadows. But as she passed me, I leaned in close and whispered, "Next time, don't steal from someone who knows how to fight back." The look on her face? Priceless.